Oh man, I am so glad I persevered. This is absolutely spectacular. What a location. We're in for another cracker today, guys. I wanted to start off this video by telling you how warm it is. It's forecast to be about 10 degrees, but as you can tell by the gloves and the general garmentios, it's not. There's a bit of a wind chill going on and it's freezing. But welcome back to the channel, and as always, I hope you're keeping well and cheers for tuning in. Now, in today's video, I want to talk a little bit more specifically about composition in landscape photography, and even more specifically about a certain approach or technique that I've kind of formed over the last year with my own composition, how I construct a photograph when I'm out on location. So, of course, we're going to take some photographs today, and I'll try my best to talk you through it, but it's so easy, really simple. Like, you'll be able to go out tomorrow with your own camera and give it a go. It's well easy. So I think you're going to find it quite interesting. We're obviously on the coast today, and this technique is going to work really well. The tide is on its way out, which is brilliant because it's going to unveil some lovely foreground elements for us. The weather is madness. Behind you guys, it's blue skies, fairly clear. And then in this direction, as you can probably see behind me, it's looking quite moody, a bit foreboding, and it's looking like it's going to rain, to be honest, and I haven't got my waterproofs. But it is what it is. We're out here living the dream. I think you're going to enjoy this episode. You're going to find it quite interesting, and hopefully it'll help one or two of you out as well with your own compositional journeys, let's say. Stunning location, wonderful topic. Let's crack on. It's raining, it's nailing it down. Fortunately, the red beast is merely a few yards away. Right, I'm legging it. It is absolutely tipping it down. I'll catch up with you in a bit. Oh, it's gloomy now. I know what's happening here as well. I'm wise to the tricks of the landscape by now. It's going to rain again. The clouds have seen me come out of the red beast, and they're going to punish me. Nah, I'm not far from the car if I need shelter again, but one thing that you get so often after rainfall are just these beautiful stormy clouds. And honestly, I said at the start of the video, I think that off in the background it was quite foreboding. It is like that, but tenfold now. And if you know me, you know how much I love, you know, when people look out the window, the average person, the non-photographer, and they say, oh, it's looking miserable out today. No, no, no. That for me is exactly what I want. Right, anyway, before we take any photographs, I wanted to talk just briefly about this compositional approach, and then when we take some photographs, I'll try and get into it in a little bit more detail. But essentially all it is this, working from back to front. And what I mean by that is literally start with the background. Now, from my experience of one-to-ones and well, my own photography journey as well, it always felt really natural, and I think a lot of people do this, to start with the foreground. It makes sense, you know, it's right in front of you. What do I want in my photograph? Do I want these rocks? Are there any leading lines? Do I want the, you know, the sea lapping up against the sand in this instance? What I'd urge you to try is forget the foreground to start with and start with the background. And what this really does is, well, two things really. Firstly, it ticks it off the list. The background's sorted then you could just think about the foreground. But more importantly, and the second thing, is it narrows down what you can actually have in the foreground of your image. You know, there might be a certain leading line that doesn't work anymore because it doesn't lead to the specific mountain that you've chosen off in the background. And ultimately, it really helps us to not feel so overwhelmed by what is on offer in the foreground. You know, I think it's all too often that people can arrive at a location, disregard the background, and they're just thinking about, like, do I want this rock down here in the foreground? Look at all these mini cliffs. And it can just mash your head. Honestly, it can be so overwhelming. This place now is really overwhelming. Look at all the beautiful mini cliffs and the little puddles and rock pools, and the grasses, you know, there's bits of driftwood scattered about. It's endless. But for a lot of people, that can be really overwhelming. So if I say, for example, right, I just want those two mountains there in the background. I like the sky above it at the minute. Done, sorted. Now, any foreground elements that I want in my photograph have to marry well with what's going on in the background, or else it doesn't make any sense. So it's class, because you can walk around and be like, no, that puddle doesn't work with there, and you're literally walking around. I just want to jump across this channel here. You can literally walk around and just, you know, cross things off, say no, that doesn't work, and then all of a sudden, like here, this is just random now, look at this little line here, I look at that and I say, ah, right, now we're talking. This leads right into those two hills, those two mountains off in the background, and then I'd maybe get my camera out at that stage and have a go, you know. So yeah, like I say, proper simple, and maybe just give it a go the next time you're out. Sort your background out first, then your midground, and then your foreground last, and see how you get on. But it definitely helps me, and it works absolute wonders with my compositional approach. Now, let's try and find something to photograph, and it'll be a bit easier for me to talk about my thought process a little bit more in depth. Oh, I'll tell you what, guys, look at that. In fact, the light is actually beautiful, but the rain is coming down pretty heavy now. But I asked for it. You can't have these skies without the rainfall, so I'm just going to deal with it. This is gorgeous. So, as per my example there just a second ago, my random little example, I am going to use some of these little puddles here as kind of leading lines, and I think it's going to work really well. So my main peaks, so let's start from the background, like I said, is this one here, which is Wharton Crag, and then there are two more off in the background over there, which are kind of falling in and out of the cloud off there in the distance. And the sky, whoa, that rain is coming down now. The sky is absolutely stunning. Honestly, I think sometimes it's worth just braving these sorts of conditions, because you get some incredible moody, dramatic skies. So I'm going to grab this one fairly quick, because it's a little bit unpleasant, I must admit, that rain. Right, so first things first, let's get the camera ready. Now, one thing you may have noticed is that I have got my green Mindshift bag. That's because I'm now bringing out my two other lenses. So I've got my 11 to 16, my 16 to 35, and my 55 to 300. I was hearing myself say too much, oh, I wish I'd brought my wide angle, blah blah blah, so I'm just going to bring them out now, and I'm glad that I did, because this one here is suited perfectly for the wide angle lens. So I'm going to shoot this at 11mm with the Tacchina 11 to 16. I've got the settings dialed in already, because I've just grabbed a couple of shots off camera there. So ISO 640, f8 and 1/60th of a second, and it's all about, I'll show you here now. See this puddle here, so it's not a leading line as such, but it's like a kind of U shape almost. See how it kind of bends round there, and although you may not be able to see it off in the background, that does actually bend round. It kind of sits underneath the mountains that are off in the background that I was talking about, and yeah, it is just beautiful. So we'll grab that one now, and like I said, the settings are all dialed in. So I'm going to focus 1/3 of the way in, as always. In fact, I'm going to move around ever so slightly. There we go. I just need to wipe my lens. Sorry guys, this is probably a bit unprofessional, but we're out here living the dream and we're getting soaked. There we go, something like that. So you can see that is just a wonderful foreground interest. So there we go, we'll get the focus set. Somewhere around there will do me. There we go, so that's locked in. And then, so it's saying it's underexposed a little bit on the exposure meter, but I don't mind. Even though, I mean, you can kind of see it there on the image, the sky is actually quite bright. So I really want to make sure that I don't overexpose any highlights or anything, you know. ISO 600, f8 and 1/80th of a second. If you watch me regularly, I haven't got vibration reduction on this lens, so I have to be careful with shooting at, you know, slower shutter speeds. So, rule of thirds, beautiful sky. Bosh! And I absolutely love the way that looks on the back of my camera. Really moody and dramatic. Exactly what we've been gifted with this afternoon. And I really hope you can see there how I've started with the background and actually worked my way forward. So I'm working in reverse, you know. Right, absolutely awesome. So I must admit, I'm going to retreat back to the Red Beast for a little bit and see if this rain holds off or goes away, never mind holds off. Let's get the blowers off so you can hear me. Oh, so taking shelter in the car, as you can see, it's tipping it down still. It really wasn't forecast. I'm going to wait it out. It's another hour until sunset, as if that's going to happen, but it's still looking, I love these conditions genuinely, and I really want to try and get at least one more photograph. So I'll sit it out and we'll see. Hopefully we'll be back out there any minute. I can't believe I didn't bring my waterproofs. For somebody who loves being out in those conditions so much, you'd think madness. Although I don't know if I'd be out there braving the conditions even if I did have them. I don't know. Right, let's chill out for a little bit. BBC Radio Cumbria's going on. Hopefully see you out there in a jiffy. So it's one of them now really where, two things. It's one of them where I feel like I've given this evening too much to just go home now. I can't do it. I have to give it the best shot. So I'm out here now. It's still raining a little bit. It's not as bad as it was. We're still getting wet and it's freezing. But number two, more importantly, I don't think I've said this in a while. It's kicking off. It's kicking off, guys. There's no way I can go home. This was kind of forecast. It was supposed to be cloudy. It wasn't meant to be raining that much. Maybe the odd shower, but then there was a potential for it to clear towards the west, where the sun obviously sets around about sunset time. Oh, and it is. It's looking amazing. The sky's this really amazing, like yellow colour, as opposed to kind of orange at the minute, and it's stunning. So that's the background. This still works in terms of the video. If I turn around here now, look at that glow. That, let me try and show you there, that is the background there. Sorted, done. So, and that's a really small area. You know, if you think of like doing a whole 360 all the way around, that's a tiny little area of the sky. All right, so again, now I've got to find foreground that works with that background, but that's a good thing. It doesn't limit us. It does limit us, but it limits us in a good way. It means that, whoa, I nearly went then. It means that we have to be a little bit more specific about the foreground, and we can cross areas off, like I was saying before, that just aren't going to work with what I want in the background. Stunning, absolutely beautiful. Oh man, right. Let's see what we can find. Hopefully get at least one more photograph in the can. Look at it, look at it! There's kicking off and there's kicking off. That is absolutely special. This is serious light. So I don't want to do too much chatting, but we have got the camera out. Oh man, I am so glad I persevered. This is absolutely spectacular. I'll tell you what, back at that car park up there, it was rammed with people. They've all gone home. I hope to God there were no photographers kicking about, because this is special. So first thing I'll say is there's probably going to be a few raindrops on the lens every now and again, because it's still raining, but I'll try my best and explain this to you. So in terms of what we're talking about today, obviously a very small area to work with. Obviously we want the sun, or at least that area where the sun is, in the frame. So I've just been searching around this area here, looking for some foreground elements. Try my best not to destroy the place with my footprints. But you can see we've just got this amazing sort of scattering of reeds, and they're catching the light. Oh, are they catching the light? That is beautiful. And I found this one little bunch here. It's still another like 15 minutes till the sunset, so we've got a lot of time. But I want to grab a shot here now, just in case the light changes so dramatically. So Nikon D7200, of course. I always say that, don't I? And this is going to be quite tricky, but I mean, even there, look at that on the back of my Nikon now. Already that looks absolutely beautiful. Oh wow. So, oh my goodness. Right, portrait. So this is as live as it gets, guys. This is my mind working in real time. Portrait dimension, and I'll tell you what, straight onto bracketing. That is a hell of a dynamic range. So I'm going to take 5 shots. I'm going to put it in continuous high shooting mode. There we go. Oh wow, that is a hell of a dynamic range. So first things first, I'm going to focus on the reeds, which just so happen to be about 1/3 of the way into the frame there. Let me see how close I want to get. In fact, I'm going to get low down. Oh, there we go. And then the light's really catching these reeds now in the foreground. Oh wow, that is beautiful. So I'll refocus because I've moved my feet a little bit. There we go. Now, there we go, something like that. Oh, the light is just amazing. So ISO is going straight down to 100. And let's put that 1/50th of a second. Let's just wipe my lens there, and then we'll take a few shots there and see how we get on with that. Yeah, they've come out all right. I might have to take a few off camera as well. Oh wow, that is special. That is as special as it gets out there. So hopefully that one there's just come out all right. Now I'm going to scout around whilst we've still got time and just see if I can find any more foreground elements to work with around here. This is spectacular. Oh, look at that! We've got a rainbow! Oh my goodness, what an evening, what an evening. Oh, so what an evening this is turning out to be. Look at that, I hope you can see that there. We've got this beautiful rainbow just arching its way over Boltonley Sands. And it's amazing because the light's coming from behind us now, but the sky up there is just beautiful. It's just stormy, and it's obviously such a beautiful, especially there, such a beautiful contrast with the rainbow. Honestly, absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to have to grab a shot of this. And I'm probably going to have to do it as a pano, actually. Even though I've got the wide angle lens, it's quite difficult. So I'm shooting at ISO 640 f8 and 1/100th of a second. ISO 640 because, like I said, I need to be careful with this lens because I haven't got vibration reduction. So I'm going to start at the left hand side, and I'm actually just going to work my way across like this. In fact, I'll start over there. Right, it's just absolutely glorious. So get the electronic level up, and there we go. So shot number 1, and we'll see how many. This probably shouldn't be more than 5 shots. 2, 3, and it's just an all in all just such a beautiful scene, even without the rainbow. To be honest, the light is just spectacular. Oh, wonderful. I'll pop that up on your screen now. Hopefully that's come out all right, but even then, just looking at it now is it's just absolutely glorious. So we've still got a little while left, and look at that, look at it. Doesn't get better than that, doesn't get better. Oh, look at this. See, I've just spotted this here. Just wipe the lens there. See how the a river has sort of cut out the land here over many a year, I would say. But yeah, look at that for a foreground. Interesting. This is where, you know, I'm just lucky here. Like this. Oh my goodness, look at this. Look at that, we've got this kind of S-curve leading out into the sun. That is absolutely spectacular. Right, let's grab a shot here. Right, so once again I'll try my best to explain to you what I'm doing here, guys, but it is still raining. Ah, that is amazing. So we're literally seeing the sun go down there in its final moments, and yeah, like obviously you've just seen this, we've stumbled across this amazing little S-curve here, and just so happens to lead out naturally into the sun. What a treat. So I'm going to have to bracket here again, because that's just a real high dynamic range. Obviously we're shooting directly into the sun. So we'll grab this now. I think I'll probably only need 3 brackets, which is fine, but we'll see how we get on. So settings are already dialed in. ISO 100 f9 and ISO 500 f9 and 1/100th of a second. I have to be careful here because I don't want the brighter bracket to be too slow of a shutter speed. For example, if my middle shutter speed was 1/30th of a second, there's a potential that my longer shutter speed in terms of the bracket could go down to like 1/10th of a second. So you need to be careful when you're bracketing, because you know, it changes the shutter speed. Oh, this is just absolutely gorgeous. So quick wipe of the lens, focus 1/3 of the way in, there's your dinner, and then continuous high shooting mode like before. I've just got there's a little cliff on the left hand side, you can probably see there. I've just got him in. I quite like it. It's a nice balance with the sun, and we're capturing it. Wow, just as it's going down there. That is beautiful. I'm going to do one that's a little bit brighter. There we go, let's try that. I should be okay with the shutter speeds. Oh, absolutely awesome. Oh no, the Canada hat's upside down again. Sorry, Canada. Oh, so it's calmed right down since the sun has gone down below the horizon, as it so often does. And it's just absolutely amazing. Now, one thing I would suggest is, you know, don't leave once the sun has gone down. You know, sometimes it's even better. And it's probably one of the cases here, to be honest. We had a real high dynamic range before, as you've seen, and it's a lot more subtle now. So I'm going to grab one more shot of this incredible little S-curve here, whilst we've got these subtleties. And like I say, I think this one's actually going to work better. I'm going to try it in a portrait dimension and a landscape, and I'll show them to both of you. Absolutely stunning. That was one of them. That was carnage. You know when, like, by the end of your shoot, you don't know where, like, any of your lens caps are. There was stuff all over the pockets. Like, I didn't know where anything was. It was like I was in a trance for about half an hour, and then I was like, oh, this is the real world. It's not all just about sunsets. That's when you know it was good. Landscape photography, man. These are the evenings why we do it. It's madness. I was 45 minutes ago sat in the Red Beast listening to BBC Radio Cumbria, and it was howling outside. Not in a million years did I think we were going to get that. Well, I did have an inkling because it was forecast. Oh, I'm so glad you could join me on this one. That was special. I also hope you enjoyed the compositional side to this video as well. We went off on a bit of a tangent there, didn't we? But really simple. Like I said, just go out and try it. Start from the background, pinpoint something you want in your image, and then work in the opposite direction. Start 20 miles away and finish 20 inches away. It's like the other way around. Oh man, emotional after that one. That was good stuff. Yeah, cheers for tuning in. If you could give the video a thumbs up, that always really helps me out and would be hugely appreciated. And oh yeah, cheers guys, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next adventure. Out.